The last phone call, clues from a deadly night. The call that changed everything. At 10:42 p.m. on a quiet October night, 26-year-old Lena Matthews made a phone call that investigators would later replay hundreds of times. Not because of what she said, but because of what happened just seconds before the call suddenly ended. Lena whispered something chilling to her sister. "I think someone is following me." 3 minutes later, her phone signal moved miles away. By morning, Lena Matthews had vanished without a trace. But the most disturbing clue in the entire investigation would later be discovered hidden inside her own phone. A town that never expected crime. Brookdale was the kind of town where serious crime almost never happened. The streets were quiet. Neighbors knew each other by name. People still left their doors unlocked. For decades, Brookdale had been known as a peaceful community where nothing truly dangerous ever occurred. Lena Matthews was exactly the kind of person who belonged in a place like that. She worked as a receptionist at a dental clinic downtown. Co-workers described her as cheerful, organized, and dependable. Friends said Lena was the type of person who always returned messages and never ignored a call. Which is why, when she suddenly disappeared, everyone immediately knew something was wrong. Because Lena would never just vanish. The last normal night. The evening Lena disappeared began like any other. She met a friend for dinner at a small local diner called Maple Corner. Surveillance cameras later confirmed she left the restaurant at 9:18 p.m. In the footage, Lena appeared completely relaxed. She laughed with her friend, waved goodbye, and walked to her silver sedan in the parking lot. Nothing about the video suggested she was in danger. Her apartment was only a 15-minute drive away. But Lena never made it home. Instead, about an hour later, she made a phone call that would become the most important piece of evidence in the entire investigation. 10:42 p.m. The phone call. Lena called her older sister, Danielle. At first, the conversation seemed normal. "Hey, are you home?" Lena asked. Danielle said yes. But then Lena suddenly went quiet. Through the phone, Danielle could hear the sound of wind rushing past and tires crunching over gravel. Something didn't feel right. "Lena, where are you?" Danielle asked. Then Lena whispered something that would later send chills through investigators. "I think someone is following me." Danielle's heart began to race. "What do you mean someone is following you?" Lena sounded frightened now. "There's a car behind me. It's been there since I left Maple Corner." Danielle told her to drive straight to the nearest police station. But before Lena could respond, a loud engine roared through the phone. Then Lena gasped. "Oh my!" The call ended. Time, 10:43 p.m. When panic set in, Danielle immediately tried to call Lena back. No answer. She called again. Straight to voicemail. At first, she assumed Lena had simply lost signal while driving. But as the minutes passed, the silence became terrifying. 30 minutes later, Lena still hadn't responded. By midnight, Danielle contacted the Brookdale Police Department. At 12:26 a.m., Lena Matthews was officially reported missing. At the time, investigators had no idea the case was about to become far more disturbing. The abandoned car. Early the next morning, a local farmer made a strange discovery. At 6:15 a.m., while driving along a quiet rural road about 12 miles outside Brookdale, he noticed a silver sedan parked near a dirt turnout. The driver's door was open. The headlights were still on. The car belonged to Lena Matthews. But Lena was nowhere to be found. What police found? When investigators searched the vehicle, they noticed several disturbing details. Lena's purse was still inside. So was her wallet. Her phone charger was plugged into the dashboard. But Lena's phone was missing. Even stranger, the driver's seat had been pushed back much farther than Lena normally kept it, suggesting someone taller might have been sitting there. Outside the car, officers noticed scuff marks in the dirt, signs that some kind of struggle had taken place. But there was almost no blood, which left investigators with a frightening possibility. Had Lena been abducted? The phone signal. Detectives then analyzed Lena's phone records. Her last signal during the call with Danielle came from a cell tower just 3 miles from where the car was found. But what happened next shocked investigators. At 10:46 p.m., only 3 minutes after the call ended, Lena's phone connected to another tower miles farther north. Someone was moving with the phone. And they were moving fast. Too fast for someone on foot. Police now believed Lena had likely been forced into another vehicle. but they still had no idea whose vehicle it was. The suspicious truck. Investigators returned to the surveillance footage from Maple Corner. After hours of reviewing the video, detectives noticed something unusual. When Lena left the diner at 9:18 p.m., another vehicle pulled out of the parking lot just seconds later. A dark pickup truck. At first, it didn't seem suspicious. But then detectives noticed something disturbing. The truck had been parked in the lot for nearly an hour before Lena arrived. And the driver never entered the diner. The truck simply sat there, waiting. Unfortunately, the license plate was partially hidden in the shadows. Police finally had a lead. But it still wasn't enough. A chilling discovery. 3 days later, search teams combing nearby woods made a disturbing discovery. About half a mile from Lena's abandoned car, investigators found her cell phone lying in tall grass. The screen was cracked, but the phone still worked. Forensic analysts quickly began extracting its data. What they found stunned everyone. Just minutes before the phone stopped transmitting signal, it had accidentally recorded a voice memo. And when detectives pressed play, they heard Lena's voice. But she wasn't alone. There was another voice in the background. A man. And the words he said would completely change the investigation. The terrifying twist. Before detectives could even identify the voice, another shocking discovery surfaced. The same dark pickup truck seen at Maple Corner had been spotted before. Multiple times. Near Lena's workplace. And even near her apartment. Which raised a terrifying possibility. Someone may have been watching Lena. 4 days. Maybe even weeks. Before she disappeared. Cliffhanger. So who was the man in the recording? Who was driving the dark pickup truck? And what really happened on that dark rural road the night Lena Matthews made her final phone call? Because investigators would soon uncover something even more disturbing. A clue that suggested Lena's disappearance might not have been random at all. And the person responsible may have been closer to her